Afrikaanse wilde cats.
We don't have a guide.
Right, so we didn't put domestic cats into enclosures because we thought we didn't have enough to show you here at De Wild. These are African wild cats, and how do you know if it's an African wild cat?
By the
you
ears.
have a look behind their ears, you're going to notice there's a reddish orange color. Under their belly, behind their back legs, that's normally very white. It's got a bit of a rust tinge. They have striping on the end of their tail, around the legs, but not really on the body. Now they are endangered, not in numbers. You see lots of wild cats running around. The big problem is their genetics. They're the ancestors of our domestic cats, so they can still breed with our domestic cats. Now if you go off to Egypt, you go and you visit the tombs there, you can actually find these guys mummified with the pharaohs. They were tamed down and they started to domesticate them, and eventually we ended up with our domestic cats. But because they can still breed with our domestic cats, our big problem comes in, especially in the outer lying areas, more farming areas. Farmers often go and get themselves a cat to keep rats and mice under control in their barns, in their feed stores. But the cats haven't been fixed, they're not inoculated, and the domestic tomcat is a lot more aggressive and territorial than this guy's male. So they tend to chase off the resident African wildcat male, breed with all the African wildcat females, and you end up eventually with nothing but a tame or a wild domestic cat running around. Now there's not much we can do about it except to ask people here in South Africa specifically that do have cats and don't intend to breed with them, have their cats fixed, keep them inoculated. They are trying to start projects whereby they can breed the African wildcats, hand rear the kittens, and then instead of the farmer having to go out and get a domestic cat for his rats and his mice in his barn, we can supply them with an African wildcat. So if they walk around and breed, makes no difference. It's not going to do any damage. Now these guys on this side are the caracal. In Afrikaans, they call them a rooi kat, which basically means a red cat, and they are not endangered whatsoever. In fact, for the last 400 odd years since they started farming in South Africa, they've been trying to get rid of these guys by any and all means necessary, even getting professional hunters in to come and take care of the problem. But their numbers are still quite strong. They have a very unique way of dealing with the threat of numbers dwindling. If there's food available, if there's space available, they just breed more. So you take out a couple of caracals on your farm today, you've just opened up space, there's food available, the rest of the caracals in the area just breed more to fill that gap. So it doesn't work. Now why do the farmers want to get rid of them first of all? They are known as sheep killers. People say that they kill for the fun of it. They're capable of killing 8-9 sheep in one night. They nibble on 1 or 2 of them. You can understand why the farmer is not very happy the next morning when he gets to his sheep pen and there are a whole lot of dead sheep and 1 or 2 have been nibbled on. Now if you have a look at what they hunt naturally, your ground birds, your rabbits, rock hyraxes, little dussies, your smaller mammals. But if needs be, they are capable of taking down things as big as full-grown impala, so they're rather powerful. But if he's going after a ground bird, if he's lucky and he pounces into this whole bunch of guinea fowls or franklins, if he's lucky he catches one, the rest disappear. Now he goes onto the sheep farms and he goes into the sheep pen and he catches himself a sheep, and what happens when he looks up 5 minutes later? There is a ring of highly intelligent sheep standing around him, looking down at him, saying, "What are you doing to our buddy?" He looks up and what does he see? Food for Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night. He has a week's worth of TV dinners lined up. All he has to do is come back and eat each night. But when he gets back tomorrow, his food's been taken away, no problem. Those really clever sheep are still there. So he does the whole thing all over again. You can see why there's quite a war going on. Now, they are naturally very good jumpers. They can jump 2-3 meters up into the air from a standstill. They developed to do that to be able to go after the birds and things. Now killing them, trying to get rid of them in that way doesn't work, so what does one do? I'm sure Dion would have mentioned to you about the Anatolian shepherd dog, the dog that they put in to look after herds against predators. That can work very effectively with the caracal. And now you come to us and you say you don't want to go and have a dog that you have to go and greet every morning so that he allows you near your sheep. What do? You go and you get yourself an ostrich or a donkey. They are both both have a rather vicious kick. They will defend themselves quite ruthlessly, and the caracal is not going to risk picking up an injury from an ostrich or a donkey to go after your sheep. He will quite happily leave the sheep alone. They go off, they find something natural to eat, and you start to stabilize your caracal population in your area, because now all of a sudden there is not an abundance of food. They actually have to go and work for their food. So they then breed according to the space and the food available.